Oh, there you are. I was just having a little sip of coffee. I didn't know you were already here. Hello, my single solitary viewer, and welcome to, well, I guess Floosmaker's little tiny house challenge. I guess that's what I'll call it. I've decided I'd try to build a tiny house because, you know, sometimes I get caught up watching all those videos of tiny houses and stuff, and although I don't actually want to live in a tiny house because, well, they're way too tiny, they're filled with really nice ideas on how to save space or maximally optimize your space, and it just often happens that we tend to live in houses that are too big for us. So it's not that I want to live in a tiny house, but it's also like just a good idea in general to save space, and that way you don't have to pay for space you don't need, essentially, and that's a good life philosophy in terms of not going bankrupt, I guess. So the tiny house challenge is I'm challenging any builder out there to try and do something that's going to look real good with these metrics. So my floor plan is actually 3 by 5 blocks, so 15 blocks total of floor plan. On the outside, the black stone here, that's the walls. So the walls are no more than 5 by, 7. And what this is marking over here, and I'm in creative and I forgot to get out of creative, so let's actually just put that back. What this is the maximum height. So it's 4 blocks high maximum. And I don't count this as, I also include, you can go 1 block outside, but that's only for the roof. Really the wall should be no more than 5 by 7. If you're adding a plate like this, a trapdoor, it's outside. You're outside the border. Here as well, you're higher up than 4 blocks tall. That's too high. So if you want a trapdoor on top, that's the highest it can go. Same goes for a carpet. If you want a carpet, if you place the carpet on top of the 4th block, that's too high. You're out of bounds. So keep that in mind. The idea, of course, is to you'd think, well, Floos, I can make a tiny house smaller than this, but the challenge is to make it a fully functional Minecraft house. So, well, the biggest challenge is fitting an entire level 30 enchanting rig inside the tiny house. You also want a source of water and your brewing stand for your potion needs, right? And of course, it wouldn't be a house if you didn't have your storage. I say a minimum of 6 chests for your storage. It can be shulker boxes, it can be any type of storage. Of course, only 1 ender chest is enough. You don't need 3 ender chests. I'm sure you'll understand why. And of course, it's not a house if you don't have your means of smelting your stuff. I include 3 just because in the new builds you got the smoker, the blast furnace, and the furnace. So I include 3 of those. But in general, those you could put 6. I think I'm sure you could do something nice with those. And of course, I think it goes without saying, I didn't include it right here, but a bed. So, well, you wonder, Floos, did you build a tiny house? I did build a tiny house, and I'm sure you can do better. But here it is. The biggest challenge, ultimately, for me was truly to make it a functional enchanting rig with all 30 levels. I've tried somewhere else, but yeah, here it is. So the build is no more than 4 blocks high. As you can see, my trapdoor ceiling is flush at the 4th block, and that gives me more headroom, right? More headspace. And I also made the floor go down a little bit, and I've included a little farm in there so that it's even more self-sustainable. Now I've decided to build in the latest snapshot, as you can see, because the wall behavior has changed when you place, for example, a glass pane in there, and you have a really nice thin wall that creates volume, and you don't have to, well, actually, it's just far better than it used to be. Good job on the new walls, Mojang. there you have it. But I have a brewing stand, and I have my water source right here to brew some potions. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chests, and even an ender chest underneath here. And I have my 3 furnaces right over here, and of course my bed down there. So that's actually a fully functional tiny house for Minecraft purposes. Let's take a little look on the outside. The difficulty, of course, is hiding the enchantment rig, and well, thank you trapdoors. The spruce trapdoors, I think, are going to be popular items to use because they allow you to really hide a whole lot of stuff. That is that is an option. Of course, we've got the brand new blackstone for that slightly evil look, right? So that's the house. That's my tiny house. My first version of a tiny house right there. No more than 4 blocks high, and of course it's no more than 9 by 7. And as for the walls per se, it's 5 by 7. That's how big it is. So it's pretty tiny. It's not the tiniest it could be, but I think it's about the tiniest it could be with a fully functional enchantment rig. Now I'm gonna just fly over here and show you my first prototype. I was hoping to hide the enchantment table actually in the ceiling, and I'm not sure exactly why, but if you place the stuff on the stairs over there on top of the bookcases, they just do not give you the 30 levels of enchantments. You need to remove all of this, and then it gives you the levels of enchantment that you need. So this early prototype that would have given me a lot more floor space with just a weird chandelier, I guess. This one did not pan out. I was really hoping this one would work well because, I had a lot of hidden storage and stuff like that. But to no avail. It turns out it does not work because the enchantment rig does not work. Hence, why my second model right over here, that's what I ended up with. And I'd be very, very, very curious to see what you can come up with, because if there are some people who are creative and can find all sorts of novel new ideas in terms of saving space and or making things smaller but also cuter, because the idea, of course, is to make it look real pretty, right? That's the reason I guess I have to hide the bookshelves on the exterior side, because you don't want a house made of bookshelves and furnaces. Though I'm sure someone could make that look nice. The idea is to make it look like it's your typical little hut, typical little house, but inside you've actually got everything you need to have a fully functional Minecraft base, except, I guess, for the gazillion chests of storage that you need for all the cobble you mine. But aside from that, it's all there. If you want to try to add redstone, you can, but I think, in my opinion, like all the redstone mechanism and stuff you need basically takes too much of your area that you have to build, that you're allowed to build in, and there's too little room to go. I guess the only possibility is to remove the redstone and just place the switch directly next to whatever the piston you want. And that way, maybe you can do a little something. But inside the confines of the permitted build area, this is it. And so if you want to try to squeeze in some redstone in here as well, you can try. I believe you can do it. I believe in you. Yeah, this is it. Floor plan of, on the inside, 3 by 5. For the walls, 5 by 7, with one extra outside layer, so you can have room to place basically, trapdoors. That's basically why there's an extra layer here. So that allows you, it's just to give you permission to place a trapdoor on the outside if you need, you're allowed, and yeah, basically it. That's your roof. Try to make it look good, because I know you can you can stuff a lot of stuff in a plain oak box. But we don't want an oak box, we want a cute, really nice looking, snazzy looking tiny house, not just an oak box. Well, I guess the sun is setting, so I guess I've been blabbing for 10 minutes or something already. So that's gonna do it for the video. That's the challenge. Remember, you gotta fit in the brewing stuff, the enchantment stuff, at least six chests of storage or more, 3 furnaces or more, your bed, of course. And hey, if you want to add a source of food like I did, you can add a little bit of growing plants in there if you want, but that's up to you to add that little twist, that little bonus. You can come up with something cool. I believe in you. And I really look forward to seeing the houses you come up with. If you make videos, I'll allow you to link them at the bottom in the comments of this video. I'm probably going to have to, usually links in my comments section get automatically censored, so I'm going to have to dig through the comments and manually allow them. So they might not appear instantly, but once I do see them, I'll manually approve them, and I can't wait to look at your house designs. Get to building them tiny houses. By the way, I do recommend using the new snapshot, just because you have so many new blocks that you can build with, and also the new wall behavior is probably going to be a savior. So building the most recent snapshot is my advice, but I hope to see some really creative stuff. Good luck!
Sponsored by the Flues Crew on Patreon.